So, this is basically how I recover from injuries from lifting weights or powerlifting or whatever. S- Um, so, I'm going to use an example from the past few months. So, in August, I actually tore my left actor doing uh, back squats. And it's kind of funny because I actually injured the same left adductor in 2024 around the same time of the year in the same doing the same exercise, freaking squats. and and it was in the same reason, and it was kind of the same reason why as well. Basically, I was dehydrated and fatigued from work, and then I didn't give myself enough time to rehydrate and kind of get enough food in me before the workout, and tried to tough it out, tried to go heavy, and yeah, it did not work out. So ended up injuring myself. Learn my lesson now, hopefully. Don't push squats or don't push any lifts on the days where I'm very dehydrated or feeling very kind of fatigued and worn out from work. But I figure, anyways, this would be a good time to go over the process that I've found that works for me in terms of recovering from these types of muscle strains or tears or whatever you call them, and give you some ideas that might help you with your rehab as well if you're going through something similar. Because if you're lifting weights, if you're lifting weights heavy and you're training hard and you're trying to get stronger and you're actively trying to get stronger, pushing it, it's just a matter of time before you get some kind of pain or injury. So better learn how to deal with it. So the first thing I do is I don't rest the torn muscle with inactivity. I don't just sit on it and wait for it to heal. Basically, I'll keep training it, but I just find a different way to train it. And I found that this is a better way for me, anyways, for getting back to pain-free movement. But rather than letting the muscles sit and rest motionless for weeks, for days, or even weeks. The first thing I'll do after any occurrence of pain or injury from a lift is figure out where I'm at in terms of what is my range of motion, um, and what can I actually do, and figure out what my pain-free range of motion is, and see how much load I can handle with a pain-free range of motion. So for example, like in this instant, I injured my leg doing squats. So on the next day, next week, I came in for my next squat training day, and I found that I could do body weight squats okay, and it wasn't hurting my leg. So I tried my warm-up weights, did 135 pounds, felt okay, and when I if I if I find that I'm able to do like my warm-up weights without any pain, I know that this injury isn't too bad, and I can keep trying to push it somewhat. So 135 felt good. I added another plate, 225 felt good too. And then I added another plate into 3 plates. Starting to get close to my working sets. But with 3 plates, I could feel the adductor was starting to feel a little something. So instead of going to 405, I went to 365 to see how that felt. And it felt pretty shitty, to be honest. And definitely flared up the adductor pain. So I stopped after 2 reps, dropped the weight down to like 275, and did 2 sets of 6 with that. And basically the idea is to find a weight where I just barely start to feel the pain and do a set with that, and then drop the weight down a little bit to a weight that I feel absolutely zero pain, and then do another set with that. And then basically doing this session after session, my tolerance and my pain tolerance and my range of motion goes up over time, and the amount of weight I can move pain free also goes up over time. So like the week after um, this I was able to do a little bit more weight than I was able to do pain free, and then the week after that I was able to do a little bit more and a little bit more, basically slowly work my way back up. But in this case, and you know, things in life never happen like super smoothly, or they don't always happen super smoothly. And in this case, after a couple weeks, my adductor pain was improving, feeling pretty good, but unfortunately, I got another injury. So I'm a gardener, and we spend a lot of time either squatting or kneeling down in the garden. And occasionally I'll overdo it at work, which is what happened in this case, and I developed tendonitis in my left knee from spending too much time kneeling, which put me at a point where I couldn't even bodyweight squat without pain in my knee. And so I had to hold off from, getting back. I had to hold off from getting stronger again. And basically I used the same approach, not taking any time off necessarily, but I just had to see what I could do. And I tested the waters to see what ranges of motion I could tolerate with no pain. And while at work, I tried to change the way that I work to avoid kneeling on the knee for too long, to try and avoid re-aggravating that issue. And then at the gym, I found that I couldn't do most free weight exercises like squats or split squats, but I could still do leg press with light weights and even leg extensions. So I just focused on those exercises, doing moderate reps with moderate weights, like 3 sets of maybe 4 to 7 repetitions. And after a couple of weeks of this, my knee was starting to improve again, and I was able to do bodyweight squats again. And after a couple more weeks, I was able to find a barbell squat variation that didn't hurt too bad, which actually felt good actually. And that variation was doing them with a very slow eccentric. I'm talking like 4 or 5 seconds on the way down, and then pausing at the bottom as well, to really make sure that there's no second guessing with the range of motion, and really making sure that my body was comfortable and could tolerate these positions with no problem. And anyways, after a couple weeks of that, my knee felt pretty much better, and it was now time to just focus on getting stronger again. Now, I didn't rush back into my old training weights right away. I progressively worked my way back up, adding 10 to 20 pounds every 2 weeks or so. A little bit over 3 months later, squatting 440 pounds for 3 reps pain-free. And the week after that, I'm lifting 475, which is heavier than the weight that I got injured with. I do still get some knee pain from work when I do squat and kneel too much during the day, but I'm just going to try and be more cognizant of this, and going forward I'll try to manage it by basically training heavy only on the days the knees are feeling good, and really paying attention to that, and not going too heavy during the times when I am working more, because these have always been the times that I get injured. Unfortunately, I can't really get away from my day job, but I can try to be more conscious of my positioning while I'm working, and try to change positions more often. But yeah, anyways, that's just basically how I get around injuries or training pains from lifting. And I've had injuries not just in the leg, I've had it in the lower back, the hip, shoulders, elbows, wrists. It it happens, it's gonna happen. But if you really want to do this, you gotta figure out how to do it, right? And in a way that you can keep doing it. Otherwise, you're gonna be